Hi everyone. So we're doing a live Q&A session here. So if any of you have questions, comments, hello 777. It's my first time doing this, so bear with me. But now's the time for you guys to hit me directly. What's up, Peter Road? Hi everyone. So we're doing a live Q&A session here. So if any of you have questions, comments. Hello, 777. It's my first time doing this. Kill that. So, bear with me, but now's the time for you guys to hit me. All right, so let's directly. What's up, Peter Road? Hi, everyone. So, we're doing a live Q&A session here. So. All right, so let's see. What was the first question here? Is it true assault on a person 60 or over is a felony? So, there's a difference in Florida between assault and battery. A battery is the actual contact. Assault is a threat of contact. So it is a battery, which is the physical touching on someone 65 or over. Yes, it is a felony. It's a second-degree felony, which makes it punishable by up to 15 years prison. So, yes, battery on someone 65 or over, it's a felony. It's a big deal. Regardless of how old the accused is. So, let's see, how long does it take to become a lawyer? It's a good question. So typically you do 4 years of undergraduate, and then if you go directly, it's 3 years of law school. Some people do it in 4, but most of the time it's 7 years total, 4 years college, 3 years law school. And that's the total. So, going back to battery, until there's another question. So effectively, you've got your basic misdemeanor battery. That's a misdemeanor. That's punishable up to a year in jail. And then depending on multiple aggravating circumstances, it can get elevated. So 777 says, if an old person touches me and I'm not allowed to self-defend. So different question completely. So self-defense has nothing to do with the age. You are allowed to self-defend within the legal parameters of self-defense. So the fact that they are under or over 65 years old doesn't stop you from legally defending yourself if you have that basis already. Obviously, the more delicate issue is at what point does your self-defense then cross a threshold where you've now become an aggressor. So you're allowed to stop the threat, but if an old guy comes at you and you've thwarted his threat, you can't then continue to beat on him. So I see Matt Shaffron join me. Hello, Matt. Nice to see you there. So that's the deal with self-defense. Is completely different issue. You're going to have a self-defense rights, defenses, whether or not it's a misdemeanor, felony, regardless of what the felony is. I see Mike there. Thank you for the compliment as always. And so that is that. Other facts that make, throwing water in someone's face is assault. So throwing water in someone's face is a battery if the water hits the person. If you throw the water at someone you miss, that was a threat of, that was an attempt, that's the assault. The battery is if the water hits the person and it was unwanted. It's that basic. It can get pretty silly sometimes, but that's how that works. So, yeah, if you throw water at someone, hits them, and it was unwanted, they could claim a battery. Other things that make a misdemeanor battery a felony are use of a deadly weapon or serious bodily injury. Those things will make a misdemeanor a felony, and then you're looking from jail time to prison time. Let's see. In the movie Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo played a con artist who became a pilot and a lawyer. Did you see it based on true events? So I've seen parts of the movie, and the movie is based on true events. And he was actually the character, the real life character that movie was based on, was actually first arrested by the FBI and ultimately hired by the FBI because of his skills in essentially fraud. He was able to make passports, licenses. He was able to lie his way through a lot of things. So, let's see. Dead Official page, hello, nice to see you as well. Nice to see everyone, happy everyone's joining us here. Yes, I've seen the movie. As far as lawyer movies, if you're looking for accuracy, As comical as it is, My Cousin Vinny is actually a very a law accurate movie. Fun fact, Marissa Tomei, who is the actress in the movie, her father was Judge Tomei in Brooklyn back when I was a prosecutor in Brooklyn, and he was he helped counsel the producers on how to make a courtroom accurate movie. So a lot of what they do in there, while made for humor, is accurate as far as how they do statements, cross-examination, witnesses, evidence, a lot of that stuff. So hello everyone else who's joined. So that's that part of it. Going back to, let's see, it's taking someone's car, but you have the keys, considered grand theft. So the grand theft is not about having the keys or not having the keys. It's about, did you have permission to take the car? So Miami does a lot of fraud. I noticed there have been a lot of allegations recently in Miami with high and grand theft auto cases. But yeah, having the key or not, it's a possible element to defense. It's also a possible element to the fraud, to the grand theft. It doesn't cut one way or the other specifically. It just cuts to, it's a fact. How's the fact applied? Did you get the key because the person gave you the key? Or you got the key because you worked for the valet, or you know the valet and you got the key that way? How to book an appointment? Just reach out to me. I'm pretty accessible through the social media. So if you'd like to have a consultation, have a talk, if you have a case specific, reach out to me and we can figure that out. I'm happy to talk to anyone who takes the time to reach out. You've all been great, so I appreciate that. You deal with depositions for lawsuits and litigation. So yes, so in criminal defense, we do have depositions. They work a little differently from civil law. But yes, typically as a defense attorney, I'm the one conducting depositions before trial. I don't do lawsuits per se. That's more of a civil. But for trials, litigation, I absolutely do those. If a person is doing something illegal and they hire you as their lawyer, do you protect them even though you know that they're doing something illegal, like in the movie? So my obligation, my representation, the attorney-client privilege, that really covers most anything going backward. So if a client says they have done something, then that's confidential, that's attorney-client privilege. And what we think about right and wrong versus the law is, yes, expungements. I do expungements and sealing. Reach out to me for those, and I'll see if you qualify first. If you qualify, we can talk about doing one for you. So going back to the question of legal, it's, right and wrong is a moral question. Right and wrong is an ethical question. But something legal or illegal, that's a legislative mandate made by other people, and you can argue, you can debate right and wrong, legally, ethically, morally. But legally, it's you can disagree with it, but the law is the law. So you can be legally wrong and feel it's morally justified and things like that. So not all wrongs are equal, and it's about the state proving beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty of the crime written by other people. Not that you're morally wrong or ethically wrong, but you are criminally by statute beyond a reasonable doubt and the exclusion of thereof that you have broken a statute set forth by someone else. So, a lot of people make mistakes. We're all young ones if you're not young now. And for some of us, it's just by the skin of our teeth and the skin of our pants. And everyone deserves a second chance, and everyone deserves to be stood up for, especially those who can't stand up for themselves. Sometimes it's not as cut and dry as right and wrong. Are sentences, bail, higher for assault on the first responders? Yes. So first responders, fire department, emergency EMT, they fall under the law enforcement banner for the aggravated battery charge of battery on a law enforcement officer. So that's a felony. That's a third-degree felony. That's 5 years prison at the high end if you get that far. The case is KC with bond being available makes me sick. I'm not following that too much, and that gets a little political as well. But yes, on first responders, it's an aggravated element. It's a felony. And again, the assault is the attempt or the threat to do harm. It's the battery that's the actual content, that's the actual harm made. You start making TikToks. You're very funny. I appreciate that. I'm old, and TikTok is a little foreign for me. No pun intended with the Chinese ownership. So I'm looking at the TikTok. It's a little foreign to me as far as putting on the phone and whatnot. I have certain concerns with privacy and the current conglomerate that owns TikTok having access to our information on our phones and when you get permissions to. But thank you for that. I will look into it. I appreciate the support on that. Thank you. DM me if you have any questions or concerns. DM me. That's the best way to do it, and I get back to everybody. With the TRLT. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Jack is the best. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it just the same. I'll take the lie. What are some factors you look at when defending a criminal court client? So the number one thing I look at is, what does the state think they can prove? It's not about what happened. It's not about what you know. It's not about what you tell me. It's about what does the state, what does the prosecutor believe they can prove to a jury beyond the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. That's what I look at first. I want to know, what does the prosecutor think they know, and what do they think they can prove, and then we work back from there. Because I wasn't there, the prosecutor wasn't there, no one knows what happened except the people who were there, and most of the time the police are not there. So at its most fundamental level, it's all hearsay. So I want to know, what does the person who arrested you, what is the person who's accusing you, what do they think happened, and what are they basing it on? Let's see. You would get very popular very fast. Where's my spot? Whatever spots there are, there's room for everyone. Everyone's welcome. As much as I joke, the ego's pretty low here. So there's no room for everyone. Don't worry. You're a weirdo defending a creep. Listen, I understand that sentiment. The reality is, by the law, everyone's entitled to defense. Everyone's entitled to a defense attorney. Everyone enjoys the right to be deemed innocent until they're proven guilty. You know, for all the people that you feel or believe or quote unquote know is guilty, there are people, innocent people, who get wrongly arrested, wrongly accused, and it's those people that you have to look out for the most. When we start sacrificing innocent people, the whole system breaks down. And when it comes to those people you care about, people you know, you don't want to see the system just quit on them. Like I said before, everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone deserves to be stuck up for. It's about defending for the little people sometimes. Listen, I get it, how it can be disgusting. Every case is different. Every situation is different. A lot of it's not as black and white as it appears. Are you a public defender before you became an attorney? So public defenders are attorneys. I've heard that joke when I was a prosecutor in Brooklyn, where someone said to their lawyer, "I want a lawyer," and he was a public defender, and he said, "I am your lawyer." He said, "No, I don't want a public defender. I want a real lawyer." But public defenders are real attorneys. No, currently I am a private attorney. I'm in private practice, but I did do a stint with the public defender's office in addition to a stint with the prosecutor's office. So I've done both on the government side. Let's see. I appreciate that. I'm not worried. Listen, anyone who has something to say, good or bad, they're all welcome. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's all taken in jest. So anyone who's a critic, you know what? I appreciate you taking the time to come and criticize and log on. So it's no problem for me. Everyone feels certain ways for certain reasons. They have different life experiences, and we're all here. So I appreciate you taking the time to criticize. That's okay. Let's see. I appreciate and value daily comments. I learn a lot. Thank you. Great way to build community awareness. Thank you. I appreciate that. So listen, a lot of what I do here, all the comments aside about wanting business and whatnot, and yes, that is nice, but if you can tell, I've got the gray hair in my beard. I don't have as much hair as I used to when I was younger. I've been doing this a long time, and if you see my comments, especially for young people, it's if I can help someone stay out of trouble, that's a good win for me. I don't need everyone I meet to be a client. I don't need people to be arrested. I don't live like that anymore. I'm good. I'm good in life just where I am. I'm not saying money-wise or things like that. Just I'm in a good place, and I want to see people do well in life. Everyone, especially young people. I don't want to see police take advantage of them. I see a lot of nonsense charges against people who don't have the resources to fight back. That pisses me off. So if people learn from this and have a little fun and want to make a joke on me, that's okay. I can take it. But the real point of this is giving back to the community. And, for everyone I talk to, I hope none of you ever get arrested. But if you do, or someone does, and you think of me, that's really complimentary. And if not, that's okay. Take what you've learned here. All of us are a community. We all live on this planet together. So it's important that we stay safe, whatever that means. So again, if someone learns something here and is better for it, then I've done what I need to do for me. I'm doing this for me. I'm not making any money here off of the Instagram. It's just kind of sharing what I know with people who don't have access to that information, that knowledge. How should I immediately begin to defend myself upon being arrested? Not on scene, but as court starts. So in both instances, what I'm going to say is you get an attorney. I know that sounds self-serving. I know that's of course what I'm going to say. I'm a private attorney. That's how I make money. But if your car breaks down, you get a mechanic. If there's a hole in your roof, you get a roofer. You don't get the mechanic to fix your roof. You don't get the roofer to fix your car. You get a professional who knows the job, who's going to do it efficiently and in short time, and you're coming out on top for it. So if you're getting arrested, you demand an attorney. And if you're at court, you need an attorney. Why? Because you're not an attorney and you're in a room full of attorneys, and the people against you are attorneys. They have the upper hand. The prosecutors are not your friend. They're trying to put you in jail. They're trying to make you a criminal. Trying to give you a record. So you need someone in your corner to go to bat for you that has the same skill set or better. A lot of prosecutors, their aggression makes up for their inexperience. I've got both. Whether that's because I'm Italian or from New York, if you couldn't tell from the accent, but you want a professional going to bat for you. The smartest people have smarter people around them, and that's what you want to do. You're building your team. I need you to help you. Listen, if anyone has a question, I want my lawyer. That's exactly right. That's a great point. So I want my lawyer versus I want a lawyer. That's someone who clearly has been listening to my ramblings in the past. When you say you want a lawyer, the cops say, okay, you'll get one eventually. When you say, I want my lawyer, they cannot talk to you anymore. It's a big distinction. Few people know. Unlike the right to remain silent, the right to counsel, to your counsel, is not waivable. They can't usurp it. They can't back end it. Now that you've shut down any possible self-incrimination. 777, can I mace someone if I feel threatened or only after they attack me? So again, it's a case by case. Obviously now you're combating a assault with a battery. Now you don't need to wait to be battered to self-defend. So the most important thing, the threat needs to feel real, be reasonable to someone, a reasonable person's standard. They're in your position. Do they feel the threat that you are saying you feel, and is the response appropriate? So if someone is threatening to have a fist fight with you, you cannot pull out a gun and shoot them. You've now gone above the threat. It's a non-mortal threat with a mortal response. So the mace is a funny thing because it's non-life threatening. As long as there's no allergies or anything. Listen, if you feel threatened, you have a right to self-defend. If the person's bigger than you and things like that. So you don't need to wait to be attacked. But the threat should be imminent and real and reasonable. Let's see. I'm terrible at saying these names. Mrs. Dean, I wish I would have used you for my son case, caught a murder charge, but it was dismissed. I'll keep you in mind. Listen, I'm happy to hear that your son's case got dismissed, especially a murder charge. Whether you use me or not, I'm rooting for everyone on my side of the fence. So good for you, good for your son. I appreciate the compliment. I hope you guys never need me for that kind of charge or anything else. But if you do, I'm around. But good for you guys. I'm glad that worked out for you. Let's see. Overgrind. Johnny Cochran, the most famous lawyer, and other lawyers looking for that big case to take his spot in the Hall of Fame. 21 years old in Palm Beach, arrested for attempted mass shooting. I'm not sure what the last part means, but yeah, Johnny Cochran was a good attorney who made the most commercially from the spotlight, and good for him. But he was a great attorney before that, and he did amazing with that defense. It's interesting to look back in hindsight as far as the legal issues are concerned. But I mean, that was as slick as it comes, man. Good for him. And the better side won, and that's how it goes, and that's how the system is built. Other, famous attorneys too, quote unquote, based on what you watch, your TMZ, celebrity lawyers, or your high crime profile. Going back a couple of decades when organized crime was more organized, you had attorneys in those circles, and especially again, New York, California, Chicago. And then you have your cases like Casey Anthony with Baez's attorney. So a lot of that's just kind of a little bit of luck, but it's fame is a funny thing. Fame doesn't bring money, brand doesn't always bring fame, and fame is not always that great, and money's not always free. Let's see, how do you feel about Luigi in the CEO case? Should he be set free? I think he should. So a couple of different issues, being set free, if you're asking being set free as far as while the case is pending or the case should be dismissed, it's a pretty interesting case given the receipts. If you see me comment a lot about the receipts, it's, 21st century, it's evidence, it's the digital evidence, it's the video, it's the surveillance, it's the Instagram feeds and their manifestos that they write. So that's a really interesting case from an evidentiary standpoint as far as, the question we're talking about, I guess first is, if it's clear that it's him or not, is an identification issue. As far as that you believe the CEOs should or shouldn't be breathing air, or that they deserve death. But to have this young man, if he did it, and I'm not saying he did or didn't, it's, remember when you start going down that road, for every action, there's a reaction. There's always a consequence of equal or greater measure. And, that's a tricky thing. So, vigilantism always sounds good in the comics, but it gets very tricky in real life because who decides? And that goes towards ethical and moral versus legal. Prime time. Wow, learning a lot right now. I appreciate that, man. If you learn anything, then that's a great compliment to me. And then this is the whole point of this. So I'm going to try to do this more often if you guys like it, you girls like it. And again, I'm just here to answer any kind of questions, any kind of insight. That's what this is about. It's about learning. Knowledge is a great asset. Knowledge is power. Information is power. From that's one of the most valuable assets. No one can take it away from you. So always look to acquire knowledge, information. Again, be around people smarter than you. Learn something every day. You'll be better for it. Mr. Primo, what max year I can get for robber without firearms, GTA fleeing and run as my first charge. So, that does a few different charges in there. You're talking about a robbery without a firearm, you're talking about a grand theft auto, and a fleeing. Those are all felonies. And in a worst case scenario, you can have them stacked consecutively. So what you're talking about is the max years. If everything went sideways on a case, on a trial, you went to trial, you lost across the board, the judge and the jury were completely just appalled by you, you can get the max sentence on each charge and run them back to back to back. So you're looking at a couple of decades there, easily. even on a first charge, the mitigation would be, it's only my first charge, it's only my first case. You caught, 4 felonies there? Not a good look, not the position you want to be in, but ultimately not the question you want to wind up having to find answered either. Overgrind. A 21-year-old kid for attempted mass shooting just got arrested in Los Ochoa, Palm Beach. I didn't catch that one yet. I'll go take a look at it, and we can circle back on that. Those mass shootings, that's crazy stuff, and that can affect any of us and all of us. You start thinking where your loved ones are out there. So those get pretty, those get pretty concerning. Let's see. Overgrind again. Let's see. House was raided, found fake police uniforms, big case. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. That's interesting. I'll look out for that. It's curious to hear about a mass shooting with that kind of stuff. Were the uniforms used at the mass shooting? How they came to get that information. Chella Bell. What is the law in Florida for being on probation? What is the law in Florida for being on probation but having a medical marijuana card? Can you violate for faking a drug test? So a few questions in there. For faking a drug test, you can violate. Basically, a violation can be failing. Okay, there you go. That makes a little more sense for failing a drug test. So the first question is if you fail a drug test without an exception, that's a violation for sure. Now, the medical marijuana card really goes to, in certain scenarios, you don't get the exception for the medical marijuana card. So in certain drug resolutions, in certain cases where it's specifically stated, no drugs, including marijuana, regardless. Outside of that, in Florida right now, it is legal and permissible to smoke, to possess and use marijuana legally obtained at a dispensary, presuming you have the medical marijuana card, because a doctor issued the medical marijuana license. And, fun fact, lawyers aren't medical doctors, and that includes judges. And the judges are not equipped or educated or licensed to tell you what you do not need for your medical health. But medical doctors are. That's the whole point. So if a medical doctor has determined that you have a valid cause for a medical marijuana card and you buy it legally, possess it legally, then outside a few select circumstances that don't come up that often, you should not be violated for testing positive for marijuana. That being said, by the time you were on probation, you would have told your probation officer, hey, I have a medical marijuana card. And you just like any other prescription, if you get into a car accident and you broke your leg and your doctor gives you Oxycontin, you advise probation, hey, got my leg broken, I have a script, here's the script. So that when you test positive for Oxycontin, you are not violated for it. Let's see. Isidro, I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering these names. Is it possible to reschedule a court date as a defendant? Yes. The short answer is yes. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of mechanisms for rescheduling a court date as a defendant. Of course, my first question is, are you doing it as a pro se defendant where you represent yourself or you have an attorney? But yes, and if you're going to reschedule it, it's always best to go to court to get that rescheduled. Missing court does not get it rescheduled. It gets a warrant set for you. So you don't want to do it that way. Let's see, overgrind. Are all lawyers in the same district acquaintances of each other? Can you have lunch with a judge and broker a better deal? So a couple of questions in that as well. You'll find in each county a circle. Yeah, there's definitely your networks there. You'll find your same few attorneys that are in that county all the time, and then you'll find attorneys that run a few counties at one time. So for me, I cover most of Florida. I cover Miami, Broward, right up the coast, all the way into St. Lucie, Martin County. I go as far as Orlando. I've been as far west as Tampa. I go to Naples. So I go where I'm needed. Broward for me is my backyard. That's where I'm at most often. That's where the office I work out of is. And that's where I know everyone the best. So yeah, there's definitely networks there. As far as hanging out with judges, for that reason, not just for the the avoiding the impropriety of the look. Judges typically will not hang out with non-judges for those reasons. And no, it's not permissible for the judge to hang out with an attorney and broker a deal. If anything, you want the closest would be having a defense attorney have lunch with the prosecutor and discuss it over lunch, because that's really the party you're negotiating with. That would be a bad look for a judge, and they'd have a lot of exposure on that. Let's see. Rank Gamer, hello. Nice to have you as well. Thank you. SWFL, not sure what that is. If you let me know. Naples, yeah, for sure. Oh, Southwest Florida. Yeah, I mean, again, I'll go wherever I'm needed. Wherever a client is, or a potential client, or someone that wants to retain me and go, I'll go. If it makes sense for us, I'm going to be there. I've got no issue with that. I travel all the time with the mileage on my SUV to prove it. So, little son, yes, I am an attorney. As hard as that is to believe sometimes, yes, I am an attorney. I've been doing this for 20 years. I started in New York, former prosecutor, former public defender. And yes, I'm an attorney with all those stupid degrees on the wall that say as much. So, presuming that they're not fraudulent, and I hope not, because I paid a lot of money in law school to do it, I am an attorney. Good question, 777. What is the difference between a lawyer and an attorney? There is a distinction. So a lawyer is someone who went to law school and has a law degree from the school, but is not licensed anywhere to practice law. So you can go to law school, get your law degree, hang it on the wall, and still never be an attorney. An attorney is someone who is admitted to practice law in at least one jurisdiction. That is the difference. People will use it interchangeably, but and a lot of people don't even attorneys don't know the distinction. They'll just use, lawyers, the more common lay term, but there is a difference. A lawyer, strictly speaking, cannot practice law. They just have a degree. So I'm going to do this for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to head out. I'm thinking about doing this about a half hour a day for as many days as you all can tolerate me and want to see me do this, or just jump on and throw shade. That's fine too. I got pretty thick skin, so it's okay. So I'll do this for a few more minutes, but this has been really good. I really appreciate anyone and everyone logging on, joining us, asking questions, commenting, DM me if you got anything. I got a really weak YouTube page, so if you want to throw me a little affection, go subscribe to the YouTube page. I'm going to start to do this there as well. Obviously, a lot of you guys follow me on Instagram, and I really appreciate that. Let's see. JOF, do you work on restoration of rights for ex-convicts? Yes. So essentially what you're talking about is clemencies in Florida to get your Second Amendment rights back. It's a clemency. It's an appeal, which means it's expensive. It's a big investment up front, and it's appeal to the governor. So yes. Can we schedule facial groomings? Yes, absolutely. Help me out with that, and we'll make that happen. I change my facial hair about as fast as I lose my other hair, so I will work on the facial grooming. I appreciate the support. I found you online. Great marketing. Post on what you do. You do live once a week. Thank you so much. Listen, I appreciate all of that. Like I said, it really means a lot. Any of you guys just taking any time to give to me, of all people, this afternoon. Those of you who are heading home, whatnot. So you all compliment me so much. I really can't thank all of you enough. It really does mean a lot. I'm just a guy from Brooklyn. I'm just a stupid Italian from Brooklyn that for some reason some of you think enough to give me any of your time. I'll leave you with just thought. Anyone that doesn't value your time doesn't deserve to have your time. So people want TikTok, old man. All right, I'm going to work on the TikTok. I'm going to try to get 21st century. But yeah, anyone who values your time, doesn't value your time, doesn't deserve to have your time. And I can't, you all just humble me so much today with your time. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. hit me up on YouTube so I can get that going, and stick around and just follow me. And I'll see you guys. Listen, we'll do this tomorrow, man. Thank you so much. Everyone stay safe out there. You need me, hit me up. Last one here. My one call if I ever get caught in a criminal charge. Nothing stupid about you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. No, everyone in here is great. It's all fun. Don't even worry about it. We're all on the same page here. So thank you again so much. I truly appreciate it, everyone. God bless. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.